I thought I'd tell you guys a little story about something that I love, which is game shows. I'm obsessed with game shows. I talk about this a lot, and it's a huge part of my life, but it has been, I don't know how game shows can be a hobby, but they are a hobby for me, and you'll see in my story. My mom was on the Pyramid in 1978. That's where it all began for me, with Robert York, Spencer for Hire, as her partner. And she won $10,000. And I mean, in my head, I've blown up this story that like, it got us out of debt, it got us back on our feet. But it kind of did, like it really did. Like we bought a car and we moved out of that shack into a better house. Like everything turned around. And I believe it was all because of game shows. So that's where, I know where it stems from, and my passion has been very extreme my whole life. And specifically for like the dumber, the better, like the lower skills that you need. So my father is literally a genius. He has a genius IQ. He went to college at 16, and he told me that we were not allowed to watch The Price is Right in our house because it's a show for stupid people. And I was only allowed to watch Jeopardy, but I would sneak off and I would watch it like it was porn. And so when my husband and I got married, like literally on our honeymoon, the economy collapsed. Like we were having breakfast in Louise, and our waiter was like, "Where are you from?" And we're like, "America." And he said to my husband, "Oh, where do you work?" And he was like, at the time he had this day job at a bank, and he was like, "Oh, you're not going to have a job when you get home." And he didn't. Like, we got back home, he was fired the next day, and we were like, what do we do? So we considered at that time, this was like 2008, and we considered at that time moving out here because what did we have to lose? And we came out to take some meetings at that time. And I was like, while we're here, can we just go to a table where the price is right and you don't have a lot to do? I think that some really good things can happen. And he was like, great, sure. So we go, and you know, like I get picked, and I have the opportunity to win a car. And when I find out just that there's a prospect that I could possibly win a car, I hadn't even won a car, but I fell to my knees. It was just like I just uncontrollably went down. And so I had to guess the price of a car. So here's the thing: I lived in Manhattan, and like I do not know the price. Who knows the price of a car? So I was off by $8,000, and I did not win. And I was like, our big plan of moving to LA and having a free car did not happen. And we just went back to New York for a couple years. And so then I kept getting pulled out here for various like part-time jobs, and I said, you know, do you want to just try it and move? A couple of years go by. And he's like, yeah, let's just move. Let's take a chance and move. So we move here, and and before we moved, my husband's like, well, we need to buy a car, and he's like, I really want to get a Toyota Prius because of the low gas mileage in LA. And I was like, that's too expensive. You know, let's see if we can get a used car. So I asked my mom about her Volvo, and she's like, yeah, I got the Volvo appraised. It's worth $8,800, so I'd be happy to sell it to you, Margot, for $8,800. And like, I did it. I didn't even try. She couldn't even knock it down like to $8,000. So I did it. I took it at that value, and we bought that. And then we moved out here, and I had some part-time work, and my husband was taking meetings, and you know, about to land a job any second. And then he was like, what do I do when I get a job? We only have one car. How are we going to split this? I was like, I don't know. And he's like, well, we can't buy a second car until I get a job. And it became this huge like catch-22. And he's like, I think our only choice is to go back on a game show. I'm like, I mean, how else are we going to make this happen? You're right. So we look into it, and we decide, you know, really low bar game shows. And he's like, we could go to Let's Make a Deal and hope to get picked out of the audience. I'll go get his costume. So he goes to the costume shop, and he comes back with 2 pirate costumes, one adult size, and to save money, he buys me, 5'10" woman, a child-size costume, corner, and the size of a man, and that's what he gives me. And so, he gives me that, and we go to the taping, and like after Price is Right, like we know how to have the personality to get picked. And when we go in, they have you fill out a form, and he's like, we're here to win a car, really want to get a Prius, like that's our dream. And then when we go in for the, you know, they interview everybody, he's like, the dream is to win a Prius, and he just keeps saying this, and they're like, okay. I'm like hoping for a bedroom set at best. So we go in, and we get picked out of the audience, and we play this game, which is like some sort of pricing watch running out of time game. We have a chance to win $10,000. It keeps whittling down. It's down to $5,000. So let's make a deal. Wayne Brady's like, okay, let's make a deal. Do you want to try to chance it for this $5,000 or take a sure thing? And it was a $4,000 all-expense vacation to Palm Springs. And I was like, let's take the sure thing. So we take this trip to Palm Springs, and I'm so excited because now we're winners. And I'm like, we're going to Florida! And my husband's like, no, it's like 2 hours away. It's not even. I was like, oh, we're in Manhattan, like I don't know. So I thought it was so much better than it was. And so we sit down, and then what I realized is that the way that Let's Make a Deal works is the person or a couple that wins the highest prize amount at the prize value at the end of the show has a chance to trade that in for a chance to win the big deal of the day, which is usually something very expensive, like it can be a car or a boat or a trip to Australia or something. It's usually worth like $25,000. And we're watching people win, and the weird thing is that nobody's winning anything higher than our $4,000 trip to Palm Springs. Like, I remember a woman dressed as a cat won an iPhone. I was like, this is slim pickings. Nobody was winning anything. And then so by the time it came to the end, I was like, I think we're the highest winners. And then it starts happening really fast. He's like, they're gonna ask us if we want to trade it in. I was like, I don't want to trade it in. We could win a stupid bedroom set, and instead, like, we have this great trip, like, we have a great trip to Palm Springs, and let's just do that. And he's like, you understand that it's not Florida? I was like, I do. I don't care. I think we should just keep this. And he's like, no, we're going for it. And I was like, I don't want to. And then he grabs me and he goes, Margot, how often are we in a position that we could win a car on a game show? And I was like, fairly often. He's trying to, and he was like, so then all of this is happening. So Wayne Brady comes up. I'm standing here, my husband's standing here. So Wayne Brady gives me the mic and he goes, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go for the big deal? And my husband reaches across the room, grabs the mic out of the hand and goes, we're going for the big deal! Dressed as a pirate. I also want to point out that throughout the entire taping, like, my husband is killing. Like, everybody loves him in the audience. Like, he's making jokes during the game, and they love him. Like, I try to make jokes. Nobody thinks I'm funny. He is the king of the show. So we come back after break, and it's time to reveal whether or not we win the big deal. So I'll show what happened. That's what happened. I'll let the video speak for itself.
The pirate edition. What's your pirate name? Dan. Welcome back.
He asked me my name and then.
Now the big deal of the day is worth $24,480. They gave up what they had, which was the trip to Palm Springs, worth $3,910. Right. So during the commercial break, we talked for a second, and Dan jumped the gun a little bit because Margot, what'd you say?
I said I didn't want to trade it in, but he grabbed the mic. He goes, "We'll do the big deal of the day." So no one.
So now the thing is, you have to, on every holiday from now on is messed up for you, my friend. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
Well, the big deal can be behind door 1, door 2, or door 3. What's your door, Pirate Dan? Pirate Margot?
2. We're gonna go door number 2.
Okay. His confidence flagged just a little bit. Door 2. All right. All joking aside, this is for big money. It's for the big deal. I'll show you what's behind door 3 first.
You could have won a new bedroom set. This collection included a king-size platform bed, contemporary bedding, and luxurious pillows, plus matching nightstands, dresser, and chest. We're also going in this Bose weighted music system. This deal was worth $6,898.
Okay, so that's not a big deal. Which door did you pick again?
Those.
Are you ready for this? Door 1.
You could have won a cupcake kitchen. This baking package included the new stainless steel range, deluxe bakeware, a set of premium cupcake mixes, and a cake stand, plus this counter height table. This deal was worth $3,330.
Margot said that we just saved her marriage. Wow, you were this close, Dan. Guess what? You got the big deal of the day behind door number 2.
It's a new Toyota Prius. Plus, it was up to 50 miles to the gallon. This big deal
lesson I say in the book is visual aids are like nudity in film. Only use them if essential, but too much is tacky, right? So, relates to the story, lesson learned. But let me just say a few things about that. I fell to the ground on my knees again. I understand that. Car to the ground. They don't tell you. They don't say go run and get in a car and wait. I'm telling you, you win a car and then you just are like, my body needs to get in the car and wait. And you just go. It's an automatic response. But I have to say, like, tonight is, a wonderful night for